The playoffs are here, and you can predict the action all the way to the finals with FanDuel Predicts. Predict the spread, the total points, and even the game-winning moments that make the playoffs. Sign up and get a $25 bonus with FanDuel Predicts.
Offered by FanDuel Prediction Markets, LLC, a registered futures commission merchant. 18-plus bonus is non-withdrawable and expires 7 days after receipt. Trading derivatives involves significant risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Manage your activity with their consumer protection tools. Restrictions apply. See terms at FanDuel.com/predicts/bonus-offer-terms.
The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Attention Ditto Heads. Attention Bo Scouts.
Goes by the pseudonym Bo Snerdley.
It's time for the Soul of Excellence.
He is a radio host here in New York.
The Rush Hour is on the air.
Rush.
Now here's James Golden.
Thank you, Cleo. I thank Chairwoman Yvette Clark and all of the distinguished members of the Congressional Black Caucus. Today's decision by this illegitimate Supreme Court majority strikes a blow against the Voting Rights Act and is designed to undermine the ability of communities of color all across this country to elect their candidate of choice. But we're not here to step back. We're here to fight back.
Yes.
Now, when this decision came out earlier today, it's an unacceptable decision, but not an unexpected decision. And now we're at a point where affirmative action is gone, diversity is gone, equity gone, inclusion gone, racial tolerance gone, the Voting Rights Act largely gone. But guess what, extremists? We're still here.
That's right.
And we're not going anywhere. And we believe in this country.
That's right.
Not a perfect country.
Yes. That is Hakeem Jeffries, of course, the House Minority Leader for the Democrat Party, railing against what he calls an illegitimate and corrupt Supreme Court. What does that mean? That means anything that the Democrats don't like is illegitimate, is corrupt, and they're doing to the Supreme Court what they do with ICE, what they do with any agency that is acting to enforce the laws of the nation or the Constitution of the United States. All of that said, I do have a level of some empathy for the way the perception of this will hit a lot of African Americans. Come on. I mean, how could I not? So you have a state like Mississippi and Louisiana, third black state, and you got one seat. Welcome to how it feels to be a Republican, though. If you're in states like Massachusetts, if you're in Illinois, welcome how it feels to be a Republican in California, where you have no voice in the governance of this state at all. So, I mean, this whole gerrymandering thing, there is a part of me, look, I'm a political observer. It's Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour, by the way, fastest hour in American media, the Thursday edition. I'm a political observer, have been since I was a kid, okay, observing politics. And I have always liked the coverage of politics. And so when these things emerge, these events that happen politically, I'm excited by them. To be quite honest with you, it's like, ooh, what's happening now? And at times it's infuriating what is happening now. At times it's somewhat rewarding. But there are always consequences for it. It meaning the things that happen on a daily basis. The Democrat Party in the United States of America has built their infrastructure on corruption. Some of it is legal corruption, meaning it is a corruption of a sense of fairness or morality. For instance, the Democrat party's rush to bring in 11 million illegal immigrants on top of the 20 assorted million that were here already, pushing the numbers of illegal immigrants, illegal aliens in this country to over 30 million, perhaps. Those 30 million people are counted in the United States Census, which means that those 30 million people who are here illegally have a voice in the number of congressional seats. And Democrats have used that corrupt notion to inflate the number of seats that they have in Congress. Without 30 million illegal immigrants in this nation, the Democrats would have far fewer congressional seats than they have today. And they know it. And the news media that defends Democrats on a regular basis know it. This is inarguable. This is one of the ways that they have maintained political power, through illegal immigration. And then you get into the money that comes from that, whether it's through benefits, whether the things that we see happening in Minneapolis. Now you look at what has happened with the Voting Rights Act, and the Voting Rights Act was signed with good intentions because Southern Democrats, using a Jim Crow system that was started by Democrats, progressive Democrats, by the way. Woodrow Wilson was in front of the Jim Crow movement in America when he came in and pretty much said he didn't want black people serving in the states, in the federal government, and put restrictions. Whites only, no blacks allowed. It started with Democrats. It started with Democrats in Reconstruction after the Civil War. It started politically with Democrats, with Woodrow Wilson and other Democrats. And then it extended to Southern Democrats blocking black people from having the right to participate in the American democracy through poll taxes and through other things that kept them from exercising their right to vote. Democrats did that. As a remedy in 1964, following the assassination of President John F. Kennedy, there was a move to try to correct some of that injustice. Hence, the Voting Rights Act and civil rights legislation. Now, what has taken place since then is that you have seats in Congress that are pretty much based on the color of one's skin. Let's look at where black people are voting and round up a district, and that's where if they're clustered together, and we'll make sure that district goes in. So the idea was, let's gerrymander seats for black people. It also, by the way, is not just black people. There are seats gerrymandered for large Hispanic populations to make sure that those voting blocks exist. There are seats that are gerrymandered on the basis of political party. If I had my way, everything would be a total scramble. What do I mean by that? I mean, we have the technology right now in place that's available that we could look at the entire map of the United States of America, its territories, its provinces, and use technology to draw lines that are equitable based on population size and the geography of those states. And who knows? I have no idea who would be in power. I have no idea how the states, how any of the parties would fare if that were the way that election lines were drawn. That would be my preference. Put it up for grabs, all of it. Make sure that it's all fair, that all these things don't matter. Your party, your race, your ethnicity, none of it should matter. Here's the geography. Here's the most even splits of the population. Here are your election districts. But you know what? Neither party will do that, ever, because they're all invested in making sure that the incumbents stay the incumbents and this grab for power. And since that is the playing field that Americans have been forced to live with, then that's where the competition for seats is going to be. And the Supreme Court acted in accordance with the Constitution. The Constitution's not supposed to put a finger on the scale of one racial group or another. It's supposed to be colorblind. And so to that regard, I think the decision was a sound one. But Democrats are not happy, and I frankly understand why they're not happy. And that's too bad. Do I think that there might be some unfairness in it? Yes, I do. But I also think it's unfair that Republicans are shut out of power. In the largest state in the union, they have no power, California. In states like Massachusetts, Illinois, their power is either non-existent or severely limited. And there are no complaints about that. So if you live under a system where unfairness is the coin of the realm, then it's no sense complaining about unfairness, because that is the coin of the realm. And that's what we are dealing here with, the way that our electoral process has evolved. Yes, Carlos.
Does this Scottish decision takes the whole Virginia referendum out of the picture that happened 2 weeks ago?
No, it doesn't. That's a separate matter. These states redistricting, and that matter is being now held up in the courts because there are charges and allegations, and I believe they are sound, that Virginia did not follow the law when they put this up for a vote. Unlike Florida, which we will get into shortly. So again, ladies and gentlemen, if I had my way, gerrymandering would cease. And we would use technology and just scramble everything. All bets off for both parties. Here's a straight scientific method of how we draw districts, and flip the coin. No matter what comes with me, these are the people that are going to be elected on a scientific basis of what the districts are. But that will not happen in this country. So we have to deal with what is. And what is, at this moment, does not benefit the Democrats. They may lose up to 19 seats because of that Supreme Court decision yesterday. And is it deserved? Yes, based on the way that they, as a party, have corrupted the American electoral system. James Golden, Snerdley, we'll have more on this. And we're not done with Hakeem Jeffries yet either, and Florida, and some of the other news of the day. The night is here for some Democrats. And they're not seeing much light at the moment. They are afraid. They are very afraid. And a lot of people are not standing by them. We'll get to that too, if we have time. Don't go away. Oh, they're crying. They're crying. They are shedding. They're shedding tears.
Rush. This is The Rush Hour with James Golden.
Snerdley.
The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
James Golden, known popularly as Bo Snerdley.
This is The Rush Hour with James Golden.
Rush.
So on the day that this momentous, and it is truly momentous, decision dropped from the Supreme Court, of course, Florida completed their redistricting map, which Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has said he's going to sign. Hakeem Jeffries, of course, had spoke before that, cut one. And remember, this was about 2 weeks ago from Hakeem.
Our message to Florida Republicans is F around and find out. If they go down the road of a DeSantis dummy-mander, the Florida Republicans are going to find themselves in the same situation as Texas Republicans, who are on the run right now. And under no circumstances are Texas Republicans picking up 5 seats. They'll be fortunate if they get 2 or 3. While in California, we are going to get all 5. The Republicans are dummy-mandering their way into the minority before a single vote is cast, because they started this war, and we're going to finish it.
That was the day that he called for total warfare, or maximum warfare, as he put it. Well, after Florida passed its legislative map, Governor Ron DeSantis had something to say, and this is...
we gonna do maximum warfare against Republicans. Florida Republicans, you F around, you gonna find out all this stuff. And, what I said was, listen, and he's like, oh, if you do the redistricting, we're going to take out all your members, we're going to do all this stuff. And what I said was, go ahead, make my day. You don't think we're going to... You want to come down here and spend money in Florida? Roll the dice and take your chances, but don't think that you can come down here, issue threats to us, and somehow you're going to make us flinch. That is not happening, and in fact, it did not happen, because as soon as he came out and started doing that last week, Florida legislature turned around and they passed a new map.
And that new map essentially means that some Democrat seats that we have well known could be up for grabs or turned Republican more likely, including the seat of Debbie Wasserman Schultz, known affectionately by some as Debbie Blabbermouth Schultz. That's what I think Rush used to call her. Debbie Wasserman Schultz. I don't think her seat will survive in Democrat hands given the new map of Florida. James Golden, Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour, fastest hour in American media, continues.
The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
James Golden, known popularly as Bo Snerdley.
This is The Rush Hour with James Golden.
Rush.
If somebody tells you they had a Essie day, you know which thing you had it was a S day, S-H day, an Essie day. Or how are they feeling? I feel like S-H. And then, you know what they're talking about, right? Okay, well, on this day in 2025, the Dave Matthews Band agreed to pay $200,000 to people that were tourists on a boat in Chicago. Their bus driver, who was alone on board the bus at the time, was crossing a bridge, and he decided, well, I'm alone. This would be a good time to dump the contents of the restroom. So he dumped it. And the contents of the restroom of their tour bus landed all over people that were on a boat under the Chicago River. Those people had an Essie day for real. All the S landed on them. So on this day in 2025, Dave Matthews Band agreed to pay $200,000 to settle that SE day for those people. They were fined $10,000. They had already donated $100,000 to help protect the Chicago River. They offered their deep apologies to over 100 boat passengers. They were on an archaeological tour at the time when their SE day happened. Yeah, Bill Castle's in the riverbank of... Yeah, what a story. James Golden and Snerdley with you now. We left off with Florida. I want to play you two things from State Representative Angie Nixon. As the vote was being taken with the state map, you have the legislature. They're all there getting ready to vote. This woman dressed in this bright pink outfit takes a bullhorn and starts shouting through the bullhorn as they're getting ready to vote on Florida's new map. That's cut 6. Let's listen to Angie Nixon, state representative in Florida.
Hey, y'all, it's United States Senate candidate.
No, wrong one. I'm sorry. Let's go to cut number 5. That's it. Here she is.
Destroy our democracy. This is a violation of the Constitution. It is. It's a violation of the Constitution. I'm out of order, but y'all are doing illegal.
Representative Persons Mullica has waived closed. The question now recurs on final passage of HB 1D. The clerk will unlock the machine and the members will proceed to vote. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? The clerk will lock the machine and announce the vote.
83 yeas, 28 nays, Mr. Speaker.
Show the bill passes. Read the next bill.
None on the desk, Mr. Speaker.
The bill passing. She's still yelling. And you know what I love about that clip? They're ignoring her. She's parading up and down the halls of the legislative body with a bullhorn, yelling and screaming at the top of her lungs, and they just ignore her. They're like, okay, she's on the loose. Ignore her. She doesn't look like she's going to bite anybody. Ignore her. No threat of physical violence or anything like that. It looks like she's just demonstrating. Ignore her. So she spoke afterwards. This is the woman with the bullhorn in the pink outfit, Representative Angie Nixon.
Hey, y'all, it's United States Senate candidate and Florida State Representative Angie Nixon here. Y'all, I'm so upset because I had to disrupt the House proceedings yet again because they were just trying to push through illegally drawn maps that diminish representation in the Black community, that diminish representation in the Latino community, that diminish representation in the Jewish community. This is a slap in the face of voters everywhere in our state. And they're only doing it, Republicans are only doing this so that they can look out for Donald Trump and allow him to have unfettered power. I have a problem with this. That's why I'm running for United States Senate. We have to do something different. I have 5 kids, y'all, with my blended family, and I refuse to allow them to continue to live in a place where their rights are under attack and where people say that they don't matter. If you want something different, y'all, you'll do something different. I need you all to join my People Power campaign.
Okay, you guys, I don't want to do her campaign commercial for her, but that's the woman in the pink, Angie Nixon. Y'all. Hey, y'all. Is. I like how is becomes a 2-syllable word. I always love that. I love it when singers do it. Is. It is. So she is very upset, apparently, ladies and gentlemen, over what took place. It's a Republican state. And so, yeah, just like California is a Democrat state, apparently. As I said, when unfairness is the coin of the realm, all is fair. Harry Enton has something to say, apparently from CNN, and this I found surprising, cut 10, about where black people are since so much of this effort, you heard her raise it. The black people are being, you heard her raise it. And you know what? It may be true that the new maps are going to encroach on some districts where you have black voters, but that's not the extent of it. Certainly, Debbie Wasserman Schultz voters, it's Democrat voters. But you see, something's happening in the Democrat vote. And let's check in with Harry Enton, CNN, for this. This is a little bit lengthy, but just go.
Right now in the numbers is President Trump and the Republican Party are chipping away at the long-term advantage that Democrats have had with black voters, with African Americans. You can see it right here. Look, Trump's approval among African Americans at this point in term one, he was at 12%. He's been losing ground with a lot of people. He's gaining ground with African Americans. He's up to 16% at this point. And you say, this isn't that big of a shift. But I will tell you, Republicans absolutely love this shift that's going on because Democrats have had such a long-term advantage. The fact that he's actually gaining ground versus where he was in term number one, this has major implications for elections down the line because Democrats, especially in a lot of these tight races, you talk about places like Georgia, right down in the South, you see this type of movement for Trump actually gaining ground. This could have major ramifications and help put Republicans over the top in a number of southern places in the midterm elections.
But do you see this as part of a bigger trend?
I see this as absolutely part of a bigger trend. Donald Trump's Republican Party is absolutely gaining ground, not just him gaining in terms of his approval rating, but look at the party ID margin, Kate, because this to me was absolutely stunning. Look at this party ID margin among African Americans. At this point in Trump term number one, Democrats had a 63-point advantage. That is absolutely fallen. Look at where it is now. A double-digit shift away. Democrats, of course, still have the advantage, but it's a 12-point shift to the Republican Party. And I look back through Gallup's records. They sent me their records. And this, in fact, lead that Democrats have is actually smaller than any lead from 2006 to 2021. So Democrats are leading. But again, we're talking about chipping away. Republicans are chipping away at this long-term advantage that Democrats have had among African Americans. We see it in terms of Trump's approval rating, and we even see it to a wider degree among the party ID margin, where all of a sudden there are a number of African Americans who are walking away from the Democratic Party and a number of them who are walking into the Republican tent.
That is very interesting looking at that past Gallup information.
That's all we need. That's all we need. It's happening. It's happening slowly, but it is happening. I want to turn my attention to a few other things that are happening as well. Seattle, she's called the Mamdani of the West Coast. Mamdani of the West Coast. Her name is Katie Wilson. That's cut 13. Here she is in her war against millionaires.
I think the claims that millionaires are going to leave our state are super overblown, and if the ones that leave, bye.
This is amazing. This is what the Democrats are doing. The people that pay the most taxes in American cities, Democrats are at war with them. They're ridiculing them. They're laughing at them. They're targeting them, as the case of Mamdani is targeting New York's millionaires, and they're insisting that even though they pay the highest taxes in both New York, Seattle, other blue cities, and you hear her attitude. So the ones that leave, the ones that don't like it, so what? Bye. Okay. Bye. Well, okay. We'll see how that plays out long term. Not good. Now, in California, moving down from Seattle, this is interesting because of what it represents and could develop. I don't know how long this will take to go through the court system, but the mayor of El Cajon, Mayor Bill Wells, has initiated a lawsuit. Let's listen in for the details. Cut 14. This is El Cajon. Mayor Bill Wells.
This might be one of the most important days of my life.
Standing outside City Hall, El Cajon Mayor Bill Wells and the America First Policy Institute announced their lawsuit against California Attorney General Rob Bonta.
To seek clarity on the precedence of law. What takes precedence, federal or state law?
At the center of the lawsuit is SB 54, the state law that prohibits local police from working with federal immigration enforcement. The plaintiffs argue federal law supersedes state policies and say California's current law is putting local police officers in a tough spot.
What law should our police officers follow? Should they follow the laws of the United States of America, or should they follow the laws of the state of California?
Just last year, El Cajon City Council voted to comply with federal immigration law to help remove those with violent criminal offenses, something state law already allows. Around the same time last year, city officials say Homeland Security asked a city council member if El Cajon police could help do welfare checks on children in the city on its behalf. After asking the state, the AG's office advised against doing so, citing SB 54, adding that the county already has a system in place to check the welfare of these children and protect their privacy.
I shouldn't have been surprised, but I was, when the state said, no, you cannot do welfare checks on children.
It's just unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a big deal because if the court decides that the sanctuary policies of California are illegal, it is going to have a dramatic impact on everything. Period. Okay, let's continue. Turn off my phone. My phone wasn't on. It's got a message. Turn off my phone. My phone wasn't. Well, anyway. Okay, so we covered Seattle. We've covered California. Now, let's head out to just a report that came in on SNAP. This is a quick report from Fox News on some of your SNAP recipients. Let's listen into this report. That's number 16.
SNAP participants own more than 14,000 luxury cars. That includes 3 Ferraris, 11 Lamborghinis, 59 Maseratis, 141 Porsches, and more than 2,000 Teslas. So how does this happen? Secretary Brooke Rollins
just stop it and just start it right there. This went by fast. I want you to hear this again. SNAP residents, you are paying your taxes. They are demanding food stamps. And let's listen to the findings in just one state. Here's what they found from SNAP among SNAP recipients. Play it from the top.
SNAP participants own more than 14,000 luxury cars. That includes 3 Ferraris, 11 Lamborghinis, 59 Maseratis, 141 Porsches, and more than 2,000 Teslas. So how does this happen? Secretary Brooke Rollins says there's an exemption called broad-based categorical eligibility that allows people to receive benefits without state officials reviewing their physical and monetary assets. Right now, 42 states have the program. Rollins believes they are very close to fixing that loophole. The department says it has moved 43 million people off SNAP so far and is pushing for more. And this year, more than 150 arrests have been made for allegedly misusing the system.
There are people in America who today are maybe not able to have the amount of food they need to feed their children. I don't know that there are 38 million of those people, but there are certainly those people.
And Rollins tells us most of those people arrested have been American citizens, but they are looking into the possibility of people committing fraud from overseas.
Wow. Well, apparently my phone somehow or another was ringing because I just got a note from our beloved program director. We were hearing the ringing of your phone. I don't know. I didn't hear a thing. Don't know how that happened. Technology. Sorry about that, my friends. I apologize. Let me see. Okay, so you got that. We got all the Ferraris, Maseratis, Lamborghinis. 14,000 people that you're paying food stamps for running around just one state in luxury vehicles that many of you that are paying for their food stamps would never be able to afford those vehicles or want those vehicles because they are so expensive. And let us leave you with another soundbite here. This is a happy one. Cut 18 from Fox. Listen to this report, folks. This is great news.
A real sense of excitement here at Gate D55 in Miami International Airport. That's something you haven't seen up on the board for the past 7 years. Caracas, Venezuela. American Airlines going to make the first commercial flight to Venezuela from the U.S. in 7 years. Due to unrest in that country, it just hasn't happened. For a lot of people here in Florida, it's going to be a chance for some to reunite with their family members.
We are going to be able to see our families. They're going to be able to come and see us. This is amazing. So all of us, the Venezuelan community here in Miami, are so happy. And now it's connecting the two countries. So amazing.
They're pulling out all the stops here, Cafe Con Leche, Free Arepas, and they're just starting to board right now. This is a symbol, not just of reunions, but in how much has changed in Venezuela over the past 117
They were having a party, folks, at the gate. Commercial flights resuming from the United States of America to Venezuela. Happy days. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Rush. This is The Rush Hour with James Golden.
Oh, Snerdley.
The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
It's The Rush Hour with James Golden.
Goes by the pseudonym Bo Snerdley.
Rush. Now, here's James Golden.
They were all spam calls. I had 3 spam calls. I'm sorry, folks. Didn't even know the phone was there. Spam. You know, if some candidate runs a national campaign that they're going to get rid of these spammers and these fraudsters, they would probably win in a landslide. The American people are bombarded with this stuff day in, day out. Between the frauds, the scams, and the frauds. And more spam. Spandau Ballet, 1983, True, was on top of the charts. Would stay there for a month. We got to go. May God bless and protect each and every single one of you, your families, and your loved ones. Love and gratitude, my friends, always for your being here with me and allowing me to be with you. God willing, I can't believe it. It's already Friday again. It'll be already Friday again tomorrow. And God willing, we will be back tomorrow for the Friday edition of Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour. This is your fastest hour in American media. Until then, my friends, I bid you adieu. You know it's true. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour. You can hear Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour weekdays at 4 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?